recording. Ahoy there, YouTube! We're back again today for a brand new style segment where I'm going to be interviewing someone who's about to be launching a Kickstarter. And they're going to talk about some of that juicy behind-the-scenes Kickstarter goodness that I love talking about. So if you enjoy that kind of content, click on the subscribe button down below. But right now I have Ralph Clark from Session Zero Games, and he's going to be talking about his upcoming project launching today and a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff. So hey, Ralph, you take this away.
Mr. Bowers, thanks for having me on your channel here.
I'm excited.
Hello, everybody that's interested in watching these kind of videos. Like he was talking about, I mainly just wanted to kind of share some of my inside information from all the Kickstarters that I've launched and the different things that I've dealt with along the way. I don't know if we'll do it all in one video or where to really start, but...
How many Kickstarters have you created, Ralph?
This will be, for my company, number 16.
Okay.
and I would say 13 of those were successful. 3 of them we had to go back to the drawing board and relaunch a second time. This is actually a new project I'm launching today. Is a revamped version of one that we had to cancel previously. So I'm excited to see if it succeeds this time.
That's always exciting. Oh
yeah, it's fun. As I was telling you earlier, the main difference in this campaign, and every time we do a new one, we learn new things. But this one, we're on board with BackerKit, who offers direct advertising with companies. And if you meet their minimum threshold for how many backers you've previously had...
I want to time out. Direct advertising with companies. What does that mean?
Okay, so normally if I wanted to do advertising, I would either have to do it word of mouth, which is where I kind of go around and post on things and tell people I have it, or I would ask other people to do the same. Then I can do paid advertising, which would be something like Facebook or Twitter, where you pay their fees and then you build advertisements and you target them. This is more of an advertising company, and what BackerKit does, among many other important things for creators on Kickstarter, is that in their advertising, they just ask me to provide some pictures and let them look over my project.
Oh.
And then they build the advertisements and they target them to all of their other connected users.
That's a ton of work, by the way. That is, wow.
And it could potentially get our projects out in front of people who have been, backing other projects similar to ours that I couldn't normally reach. Potentially 1 million or more people. BackerKit has a huge number of users, and anyone who's ever touched their platform now potentially could see my advertisements through them.
Okay, so this is a game changer.
It's a major step up, yeah. This is way better than me just spending $10,000 on Facebook and trying to guess what algorithm is going to work best for me.
Okay, I do want to talk about the game, but you just mentioned that, so I'm really curious. Twitter, Facebook, of your different advertising ones that you've done for your projects, which one have you found to be the most fruitful?
Okay, so this answer can be different depending on what kind of product we're talking about. My main focus at this point, like the products I've put out, are tabletop role-playing game related. They're supplements or they're items that you play with at the table. And I do have a few board games and card games that I'm getting into. I believe that I'll have to target those a little different. But at this point, YouTube, you have a lot of people who are very interested in working with you. They do charge fees. And if you find the right channel, and they can be basically an influencer, you can pay for advertisements with people. I don't know if we need to call out everybody's name, but I've done several projects with Nerdarchy, and those guys are amazing over there. Generally, you'll pay whatever fee it is they're asking for a certain package. They'll have different levels, and they'll do some, showing off of some of your product. They'll talk about it for a few minutes in their video. The other form that kind of does the best is just generally Facebook. Now, I know a lot of people. I've met people who refuse to use Facebook for advertising because they don't agree with some of the company's ways of working. But by the numbers, as long as you can target those ads right, that's going to be your highest return. I can generally get a 5-to-1 return on Facebook.
And I want to mention to the viewers, if you've never seen Facebook advertising, it is scary how fine-tuned you can market your things.
It is very, and that's why I'm happy to have BackerKit, who's knowledgeable about this, taken over for me this time, and I hope it really does well. But even my kind of poor understanding of it and just trying to make it work, I can still get almost $5 for every dollar I spend.
Nice.
There is a point where that return starts to drop off a little bit, but I'll say Facebook is usually the most. YouTube does really well. And then I've seen other people spend $10,000 on things like Instagram or Twitter and make $0, like zero traffic
Oh.
return. And I've seen people on TikTok, like they pay for TikTok influencers, like $5,000-$10,000 for them to do some videos. Same thing. They might get 1 million likes on the video and make less than half of what they put into it back, because there are just so many people on those platforms who are there for the instant gratification, to like use it to watch that video that their person that they're following is doing.
I think
But
on
they
Facebook.
don't
Oh, sorry.
translate as well. You're fine.
I think on Facebook, we're just more inclined to naturally explore the interface. Where when I'm on TikTok, it's like, I don't want to leave this. I just want to keep scrolling and keep scrolling. So I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and then if it's a small comment with a link in it and you click it and it wants you to open it in another app,
Yeah.
people just don't want to do it.
No.
But also with the Facebook targeting, it is so much more specific. Like, you can fine tune it so well that you can only show it to people in a certain age range, in a certain state, that are within so many miles of a certain city. Like, you can pick and advertise exactly what you want, who you want.
And it's like recently widowed, recent anniversary, upcoming birthday.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And that's what they make all their money on. But it works. I mean, it does work, because it saves me from spending, like on Twitter, I just spend a flat amount of money. They show it to people. I don't know if they're nowhere nearly as fine tuned as Facebook. And I've put $1,000 into Twitter ads and only seen $10 or $20 return.
Oof.
And same thing with some influencers on YouTube. I mean, if I spend $700 or $800 for an advertisement, I might make my $700 back. I might make $5,000 from that. It is really hit and miss, and the hard thing to do is try to vet who you're going to get a good return from. You never know. I mean, I have worked with other large companies that did work with certain influencers. I worked with those same people, and where they got 5 to 1, I just broke even. And I don't really have big answers for why that is. And I know that's one of the bigger daunting things is advertising anyway. If you're a creator, you're not necessarily someone who wants to get into all of the social aspects of trying to figure out how to market your product. You just want to make a fun game, and you want people to love it. And that's about as far as you know how to go. Then you have to find other people that like doing all the other stuff.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir. It's the same thing. Like, I'm a content creator, and I just love making videos. And so the first 8 years, I didn't do anything on social media that fancy. And now I'm like, gosh, I really screwed the pooch on that. So it's a different ball. It's a different playing area.
It is. And I see you're heading towards your 20,000 subscribers, right? That's what you're
9,000, hopefully. I wish
9,000.
20. One of these, that's coming.
You'll hit 20,000 one day.
Yeah.
Is it 9,000 really? I thought for some reason it was like 10 or 20.
No.
But you should have that many for sure.
I neglected my channel.
I think that the content that you're putting out is awesome, but I also think that there is a very small crowd of people that are actual creators on Kickstarter, and I think that your content caters a lot to people like me, more so than you might think, because I think you target it mainly at people that are wanting to back a Kickstarter to let them know if it's good or not, and what to look for to kind of keep themselves out of getting, in trouble, where they spend money and they never see anything. But at the same time, like I said, I've made 16 Kickstarters now, and I took to heart all the videos I've been watching the last 2 or 3 months from you.
Awesome.
And it's had me rebuilt my Kickstarter for how I show my prices, for what I've put in my videos, for the way that I've tried to, from top to bottom, lay out my campaign. Like, I hope that you'll do a review on it, and even if it ends up not being amazing for different reasons, I hope you're not like, man, I wish I saw the price right there, but now it's way at the bottom.
I love hearing that, and I've actually heard that from quite a lot of people. And when I started the segment, I didn't know what it was going to be. It was kind of part of the reason why I wanted to provide input was because I felt bad, because a lot of times my tone or how just my mannerisms can make it sound like I'm really being a jerk. And so I want to reassure people, I'm not coming into these with biases. I'm actually trying to help. This is what I think would work from just a layman's perspective. And But speaking of Kickstarter, let's talk about your project, because I'm fascinated. And let's talk
Oh, yeah.
about what didn't go the way you wanted it to the first time, because you said this was a relaunch.
Yeah. So there's actually, this is something that could become a whole separate series, to be honest, because again, as a small-time creator with no experience getting into this, it was all ups and downs and ups and downs. And so this project is a relaunch. It's a remastered version of one of the first things I ever released that was successful on Kickstarter. And I had a business partner that I had some work with, and we didn't have any written contracts. Turns out that's a bad idea.
Ooh.
Get everything signed, guys. And you know, that's damaging to reputation. It's damaging to the bottom line. My company almost went bankrupt a few times having to deal with that one string of issues that arose from not having a contract on this product. And so we did a remastered relaunch, but I was still suffering from some of those issues where I've had several projects that were all kind of tied in to that one ordeal. And it's been 5 years that I've both had 4,000 backers buy products from me that I've had to deliver, and then at the same time I've had outstanding 1,000 backers who weren't getting anything because we had a lot of money go missing when people were mishandling it. We had a lot of issues with product just not being the quality that we needed. When you buy something and spend $5,000 on it, and you get 2,000 things that are all not right, what do? You know, you end up eating some of the loss and having to re-go at the. So many things have happened to make this particular project come alive. I would like to give you a link and let you take a look at it later, but this is a project we call the Relics of Magical Mystery. And what it is it's just a collection of custom and unique magic items that we've made that fit 5th edition, you know, of the world's greatest role-playing game. I'm not supposed to actually say on the Kickstarter legally.
We got it. Yeah, I recently saw one for Nintendo where it was just wink, and I would honestly just wink, 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 nod, nod, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Right? You know, well, they actually put out a guide that tells you what you should say to reference it. Without referencing it. So, anyways, that's what it is. It's, again, tabletop roleplay stuff. We offer decks of cards and books. Everything's written by me. There's a couple people have had some other input. We had some backers on some of the other projects create some of the items. Every piece has unique art and mechanics and lore, but it's just magic items, and it's presented in a very fun way. And like I said, this particular project, it's more about the story of how we got to where we are now that I think would be the most interesting story. But if I can, I will happily share my screen with you here. Or I can give you a link if you want to do that, and then you could explore it.
Ralph, can you? Yeah, I would like you to share your screen and then talk just for maybe 1 minute about what it is while I go talk to my children who are currently yelling upstairs. Could you carry this for a minute for me?
Yes, sir. I think I can handle it. Let me make sure that my screen is sharing right. Are you seeing?
Yes. Oh, okay. There we go.
Okay. If I hit play here, is it doing anything?
Yes, it is going. Minute 20. Right. Yep.
Let me play this video, and we'll just let it run while you're handling that.
That's spectacular.
Okay.
Oh, I do apologize for that. All right, so
that's okay. Well,
but I do like that it's showcasing. Is that the packaging?
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're showing here. I'll maximize it. So we do show right away some of the reward levels. Like here's the book. Here's our hardcover, our standard edition, and then here's some of the inside pages. So you can see that we have a visual guide included with how we lay out each image, with the art, with the you've got the mechanics and the story there. And then we have our different versions of the book.
Nice.
There's a Kickstarter exclusive. And then this new one on the far right is our new limited edition. That's actually going to be printed on thicker quality paper, and it'll have a higher gloss. So we're producing that version like an art book would be produced instead of a standard roleplay book.
And I like how it's showcasing the art.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This book has over 200 pieces of custom art in it. and it's best if you could just see it in its highest quality. Those will also be hand signed and hand numbered. We're only doing 250 of those.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and then we have the same cards or the same items are in the decks of cards. They're all broken down into tiers so that you have different levels of play. How experienced are you with Dungeons and Dragons and other role play games?
I have only role played 3 times in my life.
Okay.
Not very familiar with it.
Well, depending on what level you are, these decks are kind of laid out so that way if you have a low-level party, you just use the first deck.
Oh,
and
the tier
as they
1,
level,
2.
you go to
Okay.
Tier 2.
Yeah, I see that.
And then as you get all the way to tier 4, this is an old image. It actually is labeling that from 11 to 16, but the 4th tier cards go all the way to 20. I literally just caught that right now. You know how many times I've watched this video and I didn't see that error?
Sneaks
Not a
past.
huge deal, but it's something. And this is another new thing
Oh,
that we're doing.
that's a nice box.
Yeah, then now instead of having the 4 individuals, you just get the one big cool box and everything comes in it. Here's just some of the art we were displaying from some of the cards, so you can see what some of the items look like. Then you come on to, here's our largest. This one's going to be a $225 level. It's our biggest level. And it comes with this big, awesome box. It's got all this stuff in it. You get all the decks. You get the big hand-signed book. You get a second book that I have written, a DM screen, and we have the floating coin that looks really cool on a shelf. What I will also say about the books here, one of my favorite things about our story is that the book is written as if it's from a fantasy character standpoint in a fantasy world. So this is like if you were in Dungeons & Dragons and you went to a library, you could find this tome about magical items. And it's written from the first-person view of Dor. His name is Dor, D-O-R, which stands for Docent of Reliquaries. And he is the keeper and cataloger of magic items.
Wow.
And so this book is written by Dor. And then also we have the Cursed Collective, which is like written as a subset of cursed items that didn't make it into his first book. So in the world, he created and wrote both of these books. So they're in his Dor's signature box collection.
World crafting. That's cool.
That's right. Everything that I try to do, I try to have everything built so that it's fun. I mean, it's usable for the DM who might just be reading it for inspiration. And if nobody else gets anything out of it but the person who's reading some of the book and they just enjoy the content, then that's good. I think I've done my job. If it makes it to the table and players actually use it, that's even better. It was crafted for that. But if I could just make a DM have a good idea and it turns into a fun session, I did my job. And I'm just scrolling through my Kickstarter here, but we put the video up. We just finished that today. That was done this morning, the last voiceover. And then we're trying to match. This is the same thing that we were told by BackerKit, each individual piece, like what they want to see, what does the best, what projects perform the best. And they gave us sample projects, and they kind of guided us in how to make them be ours, but match.
That's
so
cool.
So that way, similar to what you do.
They're looking at the industry standard, which I preach. I mean, there's a reason that it's the industry standard.
And that's a thing that a lot of smaller companies, I mean, I guess you're going to overlook the first time. One thing they said to avoid, stuff like this where we have a lot of text.
Yeah.
This is important text, but you can't have a whole screen full of text. You want as many of these really nice images that showcase what you've got. Here you can see that this is one from each tier of the decks of cards. We actually color code them, so if they get mixed up, all of the red cards are for the low-level characters.
Nice.
That's actually an Easter egg, and those colors match the color boxes of the first edition boxes. When they had the red box and the blue box and the green box. That'll be a old-school nerd thing. And again, there's just kind of repetition of these are the different kinds of books, these are the different kinds of layouts.
Now, are you spotlighting how that is written in the first person from Dor's perspective?
We're trying to. I have this section right here. We've got his image here.
Okay.
And then we do mention it in this presented by, the mystical curator.
Okay, because that's a really cool, like that's a unique quirk that I haven't heard that I can really remember. That's neat.
Yeah, well, it's too fun. Like, why would you not go ahead and do that and
Yeah.
and now there's actually we don't have an NPC character sheet, but now that's a character that could show up in your game if you so choose to use it. And I think these are fun. If you're doing the large orders, one thing that I've found is that I also enjoy this, and other people tend to, when you have really cool extras. If I'm going to spend $200, I'm not going to complain about having like a floating coin that will sit on my shelf and look good.
Yeah.
And so I like to include stuff like that. A lot of projects don't. I think a lot of the big ones, they kind of triple down on the miniatures, which do sell very well and make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Since I'm not into the miniatures yet, I try to always make sure there's something that's a fun trinket that you can use at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've broken down all of our prices in here, where we start by highlighting the item. This was something I actually took a little inspiration from your videos about how to show each reward level and how to make it easier to understand what you're getting.
Yeah, one of them. Okay, I got it.
And so here you get one deck, and then here you get the PDFs. And so all of our prices are broken down. Our best tiers are going to be where you get the whole book here, the whole cards here. If you're into PDFs only, $35. Get you all the PDFs that we put out.
Okay.
That includes print and play versions of the decks plus the full version of the book. The book does have some extra content that isn't in the decks, so it's not just an exact copy of everything. And then we'll kind of scroll through these here and get to there's the big box, the 225. You get the big collectors with everything.
No, go up one more. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I like that box. It's a really cool box. Like that looks like something you'd see at just Barnes and Nobles or something.
Well, that's what we're shooting for. I've been working with a company called Games Quest, and they also have Ship Quest and Trade Quest, and they're taking over my international shipping.
Nice.
It's been a fiasco. Oh man, that's a fiasco.
I've heard nothing but terrible things from everyone.
Well, it's very confusing, and then once you figure it out, it's almost unreal. It's like, oh, I just kind of missed when I didn't know what this was. But yeah, so with them, we're trying to design our packaging in a way that it starts being able to be put on a shelf. That way you could walk by and see it in Barnes & Noble, perhaps. We'll get there one day. Like everybody else, we got to start somewhere. And I love doing stuff like this.
Wait, does that $225... Sorry. Does the $225 one come with the box?
Yeah, yep. It comes with this large box, which holds the book and everything else in it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a large board game box, basically. And it's going to also have a plastic insert that will hold the decks of cards.
I might spotlight that one just a smidge bit more, because just scroll up to down.
Yeah.
I feel like that box actually looks bigger than that white box down there. So maybe just make the box a little bit bigger in the image potentially, because I see that box, and it.
Oh, just kind of size that up a little bit.
Yeah, because honestly, I scrolled through. I was like, hey, where'd the box go?
Yeah, it's all the way at the bottom. You can actually purchase the box. We do have it as an add-on.
Okay.
But we didn't do our add-ons as much justice as we did all of the actual reward levels here. This is our whole add-on sheet. We went out of the way to make sure it looks cool. We've got the knife. It looks like it's a poster stuck in the wall. It looks cool. And you can see here, we've got the floating coin if you wanted to buy that separate, or the white collector's display box with the deck divider. It's $20 for that. So you could pick any other reward level and also get the box. We thought about having a breakdown like this, but of the add-ons, and it just extended the thing until it was 10 miles long, and so we took it out.
I don't know. I think it's a good idea, but I see your perspective as well. But go down to those coins, because if that's one of the add-ons, right?
Yep, this is one of the add-ons. Yeah. This is one of my last Kickstarters we did. That's a collection of different coins for every class in 5th edition. So there are 12 of them. There is technically a 13th class, but we haven't created that coin yet. And so there's different types, and they're real metal. They are heavy, and they feel good, and they look good on the table. They're also exactly fit to 1-inch size grids. So you can use these either as tokens in the game to hand out to your players to track things, or you can actually use them on the table as replacement miniatures. It fits on 1-inch grids. So
cool.
They're super cool. We've included our pledge breakdown for people that don't want to dig through everything. This is the easiest way to find what you can get for what price. And we got some cool stretch goals lined up. And then we added this section. I found that a lot of people that are new to Kickstarter are pretty intimidated by how it works because they don't know what's going to happen or when they're going to get charged.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they'll make it this far down, but I also couldn't figure out how to justify putting it much higher on the project.
Yep.
So I hope they get this far and they stop here and it helps them out. And all the art you see on here, every piece of art is something that we've had custom made for us, except for like a few of the pieces. Some of the smaller stuff, some of the stuff like this, these might not be custom made for us, but you do have to legally source everything. And even the smallest image, we have to source somewhere and pay for it and show that we have paid for it. Because, you don't want to get in trouble down the line for some weird, like this compass rose at the bottom of this box cost different money than everything else. So everything is paid for.
I like how you're mentioning the tax rate there. I don't think I've seen anybody else do that.
Well, I think it's such an important part. Now that I understand the international shipping issues that we're having, I think it's very important to lay out here what it's going to cost. And I know it's not going to make people happy, but there's a difference in how, let's just say the UK, for instance, or we'll say the EU. That might make more sense. Here in America, if we purchase a thing at the store, it's $10 plus tax. We expect to go to the register and owe them $10.75. In the UK, total opposite. Tax is calculated on the floor. If it says 10 pounds, they go to the register and it's 10 pounds. They still pay their 20% tax, but it's calculated in on the floor. They never have to add it later. So that is a confusing thing when they come to a Kickstarter that's built by an American and they pay their $100 for their expensive book, and then later they're charged an additional $20 because they didn't expect the tax to come after. They expect it to be $80 plus that $20 tax that they are paying built in.
Well, I know that's why a lot of people they'll have different companies that will ship from within inside of the country. I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Oh yeah. So let's segue into some of that for a second. If we start getting too deep, just cut me off. But if you print the book here and I ship it over there, I'm going to have to pay a shipping fee to get it to that country. And then I have to pay an import fee for it to come into the country unless I have a VAT license. If I have a VAT license, I pay it, and then they return it to me. If I don't have the VAT license, they just keep it. Once it's on their soil, then it would go to a distribution warehouse who have to pay to sort it. And then they rebox it, and then they ship it to someone else. So I have to pay that shipping fee to get it to that person. And then once it reaches that person, either I have already paid the 20%, or before they're handed the package, the postman will tell them they owe the 20% before they can receive it. And so it becomes very complicated, all of the different fees that end up getting paid. Yeah. But we have a breakdown up here that I mentioned. If you were to buy our $225 large box, here in America, you're going to end up spending between $240 and $243 after taxes and shipping. That's all out the door in your hand. But you see it balloons almost $300 for that same package.
That is fantastic. That breakdown right there makes it that's awesome.
A lot of people don't want to put this up front because I guess they're hoping that people just don't think about it and they pay it later. But I'd much rather people just know what they're getting into and decide they don't want to spend that kind of money than later have them be really upset at me for like bait and switching or trying to hide that they owe an extra $50 more than everybody else.
And I think this makes you look good. I really do. I see that and I say, okay, that's great. I like that a lot.
So we're almost at the bottom here. I will show you we're showing off ShipQuest because they're the ones that are for the first time handling our international packages and stuff. We've got a closing note from the Docent of Reliquaries himself, and this is just something that's for in-game lore stuff.
Now, here's one thing I might suggest. I like that, like the quote coming from the person in the book themselves. Maybe have another one kicking it off, potentially, or somewhere in there to give you like a feel for the fact that, oh, this is really, you're getting the flavor.
See,
never mind. I didn't know what that was at first. Excellent. Yep. Take it back.
That's actually from the book there.
Awesome. Okay.
Yep. So, So down here again, it's already still so long, but and then we just have some of our links where you can find us on Twitter and all that. And, we use Print Ninja, who has been printing my products for years now, and I love their quality and their pricing.
Is that clickable?
It is the literal slow boat from China, but they do good stuff. So I'm happy to work with them.
Is that a clickable one?
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
It'll take us through to their.
You'd be surprised how many people put stuff like that and they don't make it clickable. And it's like, why would you not make it clickable?
Yeah. Well, again, and I'm also trying to share, the same things that I use and the people that I work with. I hope that a person who comes to my project page with an idea of their own, I mean, maybe they just find these links and say, oh, there it is. There's some of the things that people hide, and I can now use the same person to make the same things. Now, of course, I don't want them to copy my product and go reprint it, but anything that I can do to help the community at large, I try to do. And then we have our risks and challenges. It's generally pretty short. This book, especially the book and the cards, it's all done. It's finished. The point of this project is to remaster them. When I first wrote the book, I did it all myself. I couldn't afford an editor, and so there are a few typos, there are a few mistakes. And we did pay someone to lay the book out professionally, so it looks good. But you'll see in there where it should say 1d4, it says 104. It's kind of odd for a dagger to do 104 damage. Most people notice that. But
OP.
Just little things like that I want to fix in this print run. So we're having a professional editor go through the whole thing and do all the little minor corrections like that. And otherwise just kind of printing at the highest quality that we can print at.
Awesome. Well,
so that's the project.
So aside from the project, which I'll have a link down below, where can I steer people?
Well, my main website would be a good place. If you just are interested in looking at some of the other things we have, you can find us at session0games with an S on the end.com.
All right, I'll post that below as well. And also, I'm going to edit out that middle part, so if there's a snippet where you're like, what happened, Bauer? That's what happened. My kids were screaming. I took care of it. And then we played the sound. But yeah, you'll see. I'll edit that out. But thank you, Ralph, for showing us that. Is Relics of Magical Mystery 5e magic items. If it looks like it might be your cup of tea, be sure to check that one out. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. Bye-bye. All right. Oh, wait, I should probably end it.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Ralph.